We'll look into Power BI interview questions today. So, some of the revisions wherever required, I'll be talking. What is Power BI? Power BI is an intelligence tool developed by Microsoft. It connects to different data sources, transforms, and models data. Along with that, you can create interactive reports, visuals, and dashboards for your data driven decisions. So, if you look at the architecture of Power BI, we start with the Power BI desktop where we extract the data, we clean the data, we model the data, we prepare our visuals, reports, and once we are done, we'll push it into Power BI service that different people can access our reports. Once everything is finalized, we can push it into the use for end user. So actually it begins with Power BI where you create the reports, and in Power BI service is where you can create your dashboard, which is going to be a single page summary, while report can be multi-page detailed visuals. So with that, we'll see some more questions. What are the key components of Power BI ecosystem? As we saw in the previous slide, Power BI desktop, Power BI service, Power BI mobile app, and then you also have report builder and report server. So Power BI desktop is where we developers use, and we create the entire report here. In Power BI service, we can share and also create dashboards. People can access through mobile app in any gadget, and people use it to build reports and publish on the server. What are the three main views in Power BI desktop? When you see Power BI desktop application on the left side, you get to see three views. Nowadays, there are five views actually. The common views that you use are report view, data view, and model view. Report view is where you can create your reports. Data view is to see the data, where model view is important to create your relationships. It is also called as Power Pivot. What is the difference between desktop and service? Desktop is a place where you create the reports, and nowadays we keep it as .pbix files. We have to manually refresh this. We don't have an option of scheduling refresh here. Once you complete your report, you push it into Power BI service, which is a cloud-based application. You can publish it there, share it, collaborate it, and also you can schedule refresh based on the account privileges. So what do you, this is one general questions asked in any of the analysis role. What is report and what is dashboard? Report can be a single or multi-page detailed visuals. It talks about the question, multiple questions, while dashboard is a single page summary which can be a combination of several report visuals. And in Power BI, only in dashboard you can see in Power BI service. So again, looking at this architecture, Power Query uses a language called M language, which is standing for mashup language. Mashup, which means clean, to clean the data and shape the data we use. Data shaping is also data transformation, where cleaning is a part. Once you transform it using M language, you will be loading it into Power BI desktop. Meanwhile, you have a concept called as query folding, where you can write the queries within Power BI only without using any server applications. Directly, you can talk to the server, and this concept is called query folding, which will reduce the burden on the Power BI desktop. Instead, it will go and fetch the data from the server using the direct query. So with those questions related, what is get data? Get data you might have seen in Excel also. In Power BI, get data is a feature which helps you to connect to multiple sources and you can import data. What is Power Query? A common question. Power Query is a ETL tool, extract, transform, and load tool. The language that we just saw is M language. M language is used in Power Query. So, do we do automatic refresh in desktop? It is not so. We cannot do it in desktop, but we can do it in Power BI service only. So again, what is data shaping? Data shaping is same as your data transformation, transforming the raw data into using Power Query. If you look at the data models, you might have several tables, in which one of the table will have regular updates on the rows. You will be adding some new rows every now and then. It is also called as transactional data. So such tables are going to be fact tables, while there can be other tables which are static, which don't get updated very often. Generally, Power BI prefers this schema, means a collection of the data. You can see that there is one table, fact table, and multiple dimension tables. So such table organization is called as star schema. By chance, if any dimension has its own dimensions, that is called as, if you normalize it further, you might end up getting something called as snowflake schema. And when you have snowflake schema, there are possibility to have many to many relationships, which is not appreciated in Power BI environment. So we'll use a concept called as bridge table, so that you connect it as one to many on either side. Well, there might be some tables which are not at all connected to any of the tables, which are called as disconnected. So with that, what is a disconnected table? Table without relationships in the data model. What is star schema? You just saw a fact table in the center and multiple dimensions connected to fact table. You have a central fact table and multiple dimensions connected. What is snowflake? Further, if dimensions have its own dimensions, it's called snowflake. It's another way you can say that a normalized version of star schema, where dimensions can have their own dimensions. So, interview question: what is a fact table? What is a dimension table? Dimension is descriptive, generally static table which do not often update, while fact is something which updates regularly, which is also called as transactional. Most of the descriptive data qualities of the entire data structure could be in dimension table, while fact table could contain something like sales, salary, count, quantity, profit, some numerical data regularly getting updated. How do we handle many-to-many handling? As we just saw, if there are many-to-many situation, if two tables are connected with many-to-many, it's represented as star to star. If this happens, the direction becomes bidirectional and the system gets ambiguity. So to avoid this, what we can do, we can introduce a bridge table in between and make this relation as one to many and one to many. So this concept is to handle many to many. Use a bridge table to avoid many to many. What is bidirectional cross filtering? Very rarely we will think about filtering data from either sides. Generally we use one direction, where this using any of the value from any column in this first table can filter the entire data on the other side. But if you have bidirectional, what would happen is any data here can filter this table, or any data in this first table can also filter the second table. This is called as cross filtering. Allows filter to flow both ways but may cause ambiguity while performing. What is Power Pivot? Power Pivot, of course, you know it from Excel. It's a data modeling It's an in-memory data modeling engine that supports DAX and relationships. So you would have seen it for using relationships. Along with that, you could also remember we can create extra columns or create measures using a language called data analysis expression. So looking at what is DAX, DAX is the formula language used in Power BI desktop. So what do we do using DAX? We can create column, measure, or even tables. The common question is why do we use measures rather than columns? Because columns will occupy extra space. Well, measures are just formulas space in the model, only the formula. Whenever you call for it, it will come and present in the visualizations. So you can see stored in the memory while dynamic calculated entirely on the runtime. So some of the measures popularly asked are sum and sum x. Similarly, you have average, average x, min, min x, max, max x, count, count x. So what are these functions? These are called as iterative functions. While you have basic aggregations like sum, min, max, average, count, these do on the column and there is not any other calculation. Just you give the column name, it will just add all the values within the column sum. While sum x is an iterator which does the calculation for every row. It evaluates an expression row by row and then it aggregates to sum or min x, max x, like that. So with this knowledge, what is DAX? DAX stands for Data Analysis Expressions. It's a formula language for creating tables, measures, and calculated columns. So what's the difference between column and measure? Columns are stored in the model, which is calculated row by row, while measure is just a dynamic formula. It only appears when you use it in your visuals. The sum and sum x. Sum purely aggregates a single column, while sum x iterates row by row and evaluates an expression. So whenever you involve multiple columns in your calculation, you will think about iterative functions like SUMX. The next concept would be on a powerful function called calculate. Calculate is a function in DAX which most of us use for 90% of our reports. So it evaluates an expression in the modified filter context. So what is modified filter context? You can ask to calculate a particular thing. For example, calculate sum of sales. You can do that. Along with that, it comes with the power to change the context. Instead of saying for this year, you can mention for the previous year or previous month or a particular region. So you can change the filter context. There are some which will be used within calculate like all selected, first non-blank value. So if you look at all under the word says ALL, it is used to remove all the filters. It is used to remove all the filters from a specified table or column. We can say all sales table or all sales table region. So all selected removes internal filters but strictly respects external. Means if you have external filter, you can suggest that I want to use external filters for sure. First non-blank, it will tell you which member it is, which is not a blank in the column, but it tells which is the position. Like it might say 20th column, that's going to be first non-blank, while first non-blank value will tell you what is the value inside that first non-blank. Like if you have a column with many nulls and the first non-null is India, so your first non-blank value would be India. And you have the relationship one to many. You can use on the many side of the table, a function called as related. This acts just like your VLOOKUP. to help you fetch the data from dimension table. So with this, the questions, what is calculate? Calculate is a DAX function that evaluates any expression in modified context. For example, you could say calculate total sales if this is a measure, and then you could also give a context saying that previous month, previous month of a particular date, record date, shipping date, birth date, any date column you can mention. So this is how you can use calculate powerfully. Similar to sum and sum x, what's the difference between rank and rank x? Rank x is the function which is older and it's iterator based function where you are going to get rank of any particular column based on values in the other column. You can avoid the filters there. You will get every row a particular rank. Rank is a new function which is used as alternative for rankx. What is the difference between calculate and calculate table? You can see the name itself suggests this is a measure function while this is a table function where you could use calculate table as a nested function inside your measures as well. So calculate returns a value, that scalar value, while calculate table returns definitely one table, but however, as I said, you can nest it within other measures to use it as a virtual table as well. So as we discussed, first non-blank versus first non-blank value. This tells the number, the position. The first non-blank value tells what is that value which is not blank. It gives the member, it gives the value. So another big concept in your Power BI would be filters. Filters, of course, you think about because the raw data can be having several rows which might have some junk data which need not be used in your visuals. So in such case, you think about filtering the data. So basically, as a developer, you get to see three filters: visual filter, page filter, report level filter. You can see that report level filter is the powerful filter which can completely filter the entire report, while the name suggests page level. Only within that page, whatever visuals are there, that can be filtered. Visual level is only for a particular visual. Other than these filters, we also have a concept called drill through, where you can navigate to a detailed page. You can keep a summary of the entire thing in another page, and whenever question arises about a visual, you can right click and drill through and go to that page with details. Sometimes you can filter the data and keep the stages in a memory called as bookmarks. So whenever you want, you can go to that particular state. So bookmarks are the concept which records the state of your report. Similarly, you can use parameters as well to show certain stages within report. So with that, what are the types of filters in Power BI? Visual level, page level, report level, three types of filters, plus drill through, slicer. A slicer is also one visual which is given to the end user. So again, what is slicer? Slicer is a visual level filter that allows user to it's a visual filter, sorry. It's a visual filter that allows user to interact the report. Field parameters, some measures that you have written in your model, you can connect them as field parameters, which allows user to dynamically switch between the visuals, the way they see the visuals. They can change the measures or dimensions in the visual using parameters. What are bookmarks? Bookmarks are these stages in the report which can also include filtered state. You can filter certain items and immediately capture it as a bookmark and later connect them with the buttons. What is drill through? Drill through is a concept which will help you to navigate to another page where you have all the details related to that particular data point. So whichever category or subcategory you select, from there you can navigate to another page. It shows complete details only for that particular data point, similar to your filters. So one of the powerful need of DAX is time intelligence. So DAX is so powerful that it can do intelligence calculations like MOM, YOY, MTD, QTD, and so on. So how does DAX help us? There are questions related to those. What is a date table? In any company, people call it as master date, date table, calendar, master calendar, and so on. What does it do? It contains a continuous date in a column. Generally, it is a single column table with complete date starting from first day till the last day. It is used for your time intelligence calculations. So how do you generate dates between start and end? We use either generate or we can also use calendar function. So it requires two arguments. As you write calendar, you will have to suggest start date, mention the start date, and also mention the end date. If you tell your project start and end date, you will get a table with only one column which starts with first day till the last day. All are unique values, you will get it in that table. So sometimes when you use slicers like month, if you're using month name in the slicer, because Power BI puts everything in alphabetical order, you might end up seeing April as the first month and it goes like September being the last month in the order. It orders in A to Z generally. But if you want to show it like January, February up to December, the only way that you can do is you will have to sort the month name column using other columns which are in numbers. For example, you can choose another column which has got YYYY numerical column. Also, people use month function and create a column which will have 1, 2, 3 up to 12. So using this order, if you sort it, you will get to see January to December. So powerful functions, calendar and calendar auto, both are table functions. You will be able to create a table with one column called date for sure. But calendar, you have a flexibility to start from first date that you decide until your last date. You can decide the first and last date. While calendar auto goes to the entire model, checks all the table, whichever table has the earliest date, whichever table has the last date, it will create entire set of dates starting from the earliest date to the last date of the last year. So that's your calendar auto. It detects the range by itself. Calendar requires manual dates. Calendar auto detects automatically. What are custom visuals? In fact, we have build pane. In build pane, you see basic visuals are already there, which are sufficient for our analysis. By chance, if you think you need more colors, more analysis to be done, you can always import from service. So from the Power BI existing visuals, if you want, you can build that which are not sufficient using default visuals. built visuals used when default visuals do not meet the required reports. So as we complete our work, we need to think about how do we share. So connectivity, security, and optimization comes to picture after our complete report generation. So here is where you will think about some gateways. Gateways are something that helps you to do refreshing in your reports. If you are using as a single user, you can have personal gateway, and whenever you want, you can set it as scheduled refresh in your Power BI service account. While on-premises gateways are something that can help refresh the data even if the data is not present in our premises, in our laptops especially. So coming to connectivity, while getting the data from servers, you have import method and direct query method. Import is faster because it brings the data inside your laptop or the system. And since the data is along with your system only, you can do work faster. But however, you may not get the real-time data then. When you do direct query, you are accessing the real-time data. Any modifications in the data will be connected directly. Of course, since it has to be connected online, it might be little slow on that. One challenge is you may not be able to schedule refresh because it is live connected. Connected to Coming to securities, I might have huge data in my report, but when I share it to end user, people should see only the relevant data. If I am from South, I should be only seeing the South data instead of seeing all other regions. So in such case, there is a concept called as row level security, which can restrict the rows based on the user. Two methods in that. One is static RLS, one is dynamic RLS. Dynamic RLS decides dynamically. The system only decides what kind of data should be shown to the end user. We use a measure function called user principal name to filter based on the logged in user. Similarly, you have object level security where you can decide which table or which column to be shown to which user. So use the models properly, create good measures, relation should be correct, use the best of your DAGs, and think about using the right visuals, avoid using too many outside visuals, and also plan for incremental refresh. These steps can help you to perform faster. This method is called as optimization. So, coming to questions related to those, what is personal gateway and on-premises gateway? Personal is only for single user, while on-premises is for multi-user. It supports direct query. Query folding, as I said, you could write final query in the Power BI get data only, which can go and do the work in the server instead of you bringing it into Power BI and then trying to transform it. So process where Power Query steps are translated into source queries and executed at source instead of bringing it into Power BI environment and then cleaning and transforming. What is import versus direct query? Import, of course, you will import the data at that particular time to your system and start your work, while direct query always be connected to the real data source. Import is faster, it requires in-memory refresh. You have to manually refresh it. While direct query, it's always direct connected to the live data. It can be a little slow, and since it is connected to the servers, you might have limitations in accessing DAX. A quick overview on this. We have report which can be created in your Power BI desktop After publishing it, you can convert that as dashboard. A dashboard can be collection of reports from different reports. It could be having multiple visuals from different reports. If you look at report can have multiple pages, while dashboard can be a single page summary. So what is fact table? A table which is having numerical data, generally updated, while dimensions are descriptive tables which are static in nature. Import, you bring the data inside your machine. Your direct query is connected to real-time source. Column occupies space, measures run on the visual when you want it. It's blindly going to add a single column. SumX, for every row it calculates the expression and then finally adds. All is a function which removes the filter where all selected respects the external filter, although it removes all of the filters. RLS, row level security, used to secure your rows records, while object level security is for requesting particular tables or even columns within the tables. So with that knowledge, what is all and all selected? All is a table function which can remove all the filters on a table or a particular column. All selected, although it removes the filters, it respects the external filters used in slicer. Related, when you have relationships like one to many, on the many side you can use lookup function, and that lookup function is your related in DAX. It fetches value from the dimension table to the fact table. What is RLS? Row level security. It restricts data visibility based on the roles that you decide for the users. Dynamic RLS, how do we do this? We have to depend on a DAX function called as user principal name. So it decides whoever has logged in, user principal name captures the login name, and due to modeling, it can go and filter only that data which is relevant to the user. What is query folding? So as we discussed, it required so you just have to mention range start and range end while pulling the data. So whenever you refresh, it doesn't get the entire data. For example, on a particular day, you pulled the data and you mention the start and end. The next time when you pull the new data, it won't start from the beginning. Instead, it will only start from the where you stopped. Only the new data will be pulled. This concept is called as incremental refresh. How do you deal with optimizing reports? So as we discussed, use basic visuals, use good models, use proper aggregations, write DAX, avoid many-to-many relationships. And also in Power BI, you have a concept called as performance optimizer. Use performance optimizer to see which measures or tables or visuals are taking time to load. Based on that, you can plan for using right visuals and measures. What is the difference between OLS and RLS? OLS stands for object level security, while RLS is for row level security. Object level can restrict the table or columns. Row levels only restrict records. So with that, I think we have revised everything that is commonly asked in the interview questions. Good luck to you all.